Yo.
Whoa, what up?
Whoop, whoop.
Cheers. Big game.
What's up?
They had big game tonight.
Oh yeah, big game. Big game. IU versus UNC. It wasn't the big matchup that we thought that we were going to get whenever UNC was ranked first, but they're still ranked up there in the top 20. I think they're at 18 right now, so it's still a big game. Anytime you play North Carolina, that's going to be a big game, I think.
Yeah, and like what Damon sent out, like all 30 NBA teams are going to have a scout present there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, all of them are probably looking at that Baycott kid from North Carolina, I'm sure. But
is that the guy who's been there for like 9 years?
do what?
Is that the guy who's been there for like 9 years?
No, I don't think he's been there that long. I know he.
Is he
A
like
lot of
power
people thought he
forward
was-
center?
A lot of people thought he was going to leave last year because he killed it in the tournament and like during the Final Four and everything, but he ended up coming back. So it's tough though. And I mean, Trace Jackson Davis, they're there to see him too. So yeah, doesn't surprise me that all them scouts are going to be there. I want to know how Damon actually feels
with this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like who's he rooting for? I think if I had to guess, he cheers for IU.
Yeah, he'll probably cheer for IU, but be okay if North Carolina wins.
Sure. Yeah.
But you can't have two teams.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. I don't ever want to give him shit or give somebody shit for their favorite teams or anything, but
yeah, it just makes it tough in situations like that. But
he's got like a lot of times people will have like a 1 and a 2. You know what I mean? Like my second favorite team or something. He's got like a 1A and a 1B, or a 1A and a 1AA.
That's how I feel kind of with the NFL every year. Like I'm always gonna root for the Colts, but I always pick another team to like watch and cheer for.
Yeah. Do you kind of change? Do you change it up every year on who's going to be like your team this year? Like
yeah, like a couple years ago it was the Raiders. Last year it was the Bills. This year it's been Pittsburgh, just because I get those games a lot.
Yeah.
So it just changes it up. Just somebody to watch.
Pittsburgh was my like second favorite team for a while, just because of Joey Palka. I was friends with Joey Palka, and he was a big Steelers guy, and it just kind of rubbed off on me. Just ended up watching him, and I wasn't ever really a Colts fan either. So, like, remember whenever we were in high school, the Colts and the Steelers it wasn't really like a rivalry, but they were both really good teams. They would meet in the playoffs, and it was kind of an intense little thing between them. And it was me and Joey were always kind of over in the corner laughing. Win.
Yep.
We were up there one day up at the school. It was like a girls' tournament or something for high school or junior high or something. We were working the concession stand, and they had it was the Colts versus the Steelers, and I think that was the game that. No, that wasn't the one. But I was gonna say it's the one where like the guy got his wife stabbed him in the leg the night before, or whatever, for the Colts. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it may have been that game. I can't quite remember, but anyway, we were watching it. Everybody in the school. We had the small gym and the big gym going with 2 basketball games. I think there were 4 teams there, and all the parents and anybody that wasn't playing, they were all hovered around this little bitty TV in that little like entryway, watching the Colts and Steelers game, watching the end of it. And the Steelers ended up winning, and me and Joey just kind of gave a look at each other with a smile, like, yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't remember that. That's crazy, but yeah, Nick Harper back in Knicks.
I think Jerome Bettis fumbled it. It may have been that game. I think Jerome Bettis like fumbled it at the goal line, and he picked it up, and took off running and was going to take it back for 6, and I think he got swiped up by Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm,
I think that's what happened.
gotcha. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff. They were well represented. Their terrible towels in Indy this weekend.
I think Joey Palca was actually at that game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him since then. I'm sure he had fun getting to see a good game and everything too. So,
Yep.
Real Monsters. I like the name change, Sean. That was a good one.
Thank you. Yep.
Creative.
With Amon-Ra.
Yep. And it was after he had a big game too on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
What was it? 20? He scored 27 for you or something like that.
Yep. 27.9, almost 28 points. It's nice to have. Nice to have some points all around. Everyone pretty much just showed up this week on my team.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs just set it off.
Yep. We talked about last week how you had good games, really, with everybody. And I think you were you playing Mario? Yeah. You had good games out of everybody. It's just like you got all their floors and nobody had a ceiling.
Yeah.
But everybody seemed to show up. I know Josh Jacobs definitely went through the ceiling on that one, so that evened out for you.
Yep. Trevor Lawrence played really well too, so that was nice.
I saw a stat, not sure if it's true, and I don't know what they're going off of, but they were saying that Trevor Lawrence is like the best quarterback in the month of November.
That's awesome.
I don't think that's fantasy. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's fantasy stuff. It was something like QBR or I don't know, but
yeah,
they had a little thing under it. I didn't click on the.
I mean, he's been playing really well.
Yeah, he has, man. Just needed to get a good coach, and Doug Peterson's a good quarterback guy too. So I think he just needed to get somebody behind him that was gonna give him time and knew what it took to be a pro quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Not a college guy.
Yeah, and they finally started throwing the ball to Zay Jones more. And I mean, I like Marvin Jones, but I mean, at some point you reach kind of the height of your career, and I think he's a little past that now.
Yeah.
So Zay Jones is there to be that guy, the reliable guy. And man, he made some plays.
Yeah, they've got Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Marvin Jones. I'm not sleeping on Marvin Jones yet, but they just don't need to utilize him like he's been utilized in the past. You know, he's basically a third option for him, which is a pretty damn good third option if you ask me.
Yeah, for sure.
Bob picked up his 6th win in just as many games. Congratulations, Bob. On a hot streak, man. Staying on the top of my power rankings.
Hot.
Broncos lost. They played like shit all around. Their defense looked bad. Surtain's in a little bit of a slump right now. Nothing going for them. I did see that about half the team showed up to Russell Wilson's birthday party. That's way more than I would have expected to show up to his birthday party.
Dang.
Did Jeff Saturday learn something from Nathaniel Hackett, by the way? Speaking of the Colts and the Broncos, I was watching the end of that game and just baffled at the fact that he would not call a timeout.
Yeah, it was a little strange. I think that comes to inexperience.
Yeah. It has to, right? That it looked just like Nathaniel Hackett in week 1 against the Seahawks. It was like, are you going to try to give your team an opportunity to win this football game? Or are you just going to let the clock go?
Yeah, and they just let the clock go.
Just let it go. He's just standing there. He wasn't even – I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was thinking. Did he ever defend it or anything?
I don't know. I didn't watch too much of the post game, so I'm not sure. I didn't hear anything, but I think that just not just the inexperience, but I think they felt like they could get a stop and score. And I mean, I don't know that they were paying attention to the clock. That's what it felt like.
When they had the ball with a minute to go and Matt Ryan runs, doesn't get the first down, which that's not all his fault. He's got to get down, but call timeout. Boom.
Should have. Yeah.
He should get up and call it. Like, why are you waiting on the coach? You got 3 of them. You can't take them home with you, as they say, you know. just drives me nuts. And I get the inexperience thing, but those are the type of mistakes that I don't think can be made by anyone at that level. Like,
Yeah.
if you want me to be nice to you and say, yeah, you're just an inexperienced head coach, you fucked up a series and you called a bad play on third down because you didn't realize that this team's X percentage against third down on runs to the left or something like that. Like, maybe you miscued there. But as far as time management goes, man, we said this earlier in the season on the podcast. Play Madden, play video games in your spare time, and learn how much time you have in it. Like, he has to know. He has to know, and it just drives me nuts that on that scale can be that big of a mistake can be made, I guess, at that level.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I didn't hear his explanation. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if anything would make me happy. It's the same thing with Hackett. Like,
yeah,
don't defend it. Whatever you do, like, don't defend it. Stand up there and say, you know what, I should have called a timeout. Yeah, and it's not hindsight because everyone else knew, only I didn't. But I'm starting to realize that I should have.
Yeah, I'll look up some videos to see if he has said anything about it. But yeah, it was frustrating watching it. And then while we're on that, did you see like the end of the Baltimore game?
No, I didn't see exactly how that ended. No.
So it was Lamar made a great throw. I mean, they're down, right? And they're trying to tie it up or win. But great throw. I don't remember what it was. It was something like 40-some yards, right? It was an awesome throw. Put him in a position to where there's like 2 seconds left, something like that. Like, I don't remember the exact time. And they've got Justin Tucker. And so they bring him out and they go for like a 67-yard field goal. So in that situation with Justin Tucker, are you going for a 67-yard field goal or using Lamar Jackson in some type of way trying to score a touchdown?
You know what? Now that you talked about it, I did watch the end of that football game. That one's tough, man. That one's tough. I don't think at any point I want to try a 67-yard field goal.
Yeah, but you've got Justin Tucker.
But you have Justin Tucker,
greatest kicker of all time.
I think he was confident in it too, being Justin Tucker and Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So he was confident in doing that. I would have tried to get more yards, maybe. I don't know how you could have, I guess, but
yeah, I don't think there was enough time for another play.
Yeah, there wasn't. I don't think there was. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, here's the trick play. I think. Well, one, I think if I were in their shoes, I would have done the same thing. I think I would have tried it because it's Justin Tucker, and the odds of scoring a touchdown against a prevent defense.
Yeah, it's
probably going to be around the same.
Yeah, nearly impossible.
Yeah, you might actually have better chances kicking a 67-yard field goal
with Justin Tucker.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why not have like a wide receiver screen right out to the side, get a couple blockers out there, throw it to them, and then have Lamar come back around like a flag football play and pitch it to Lamar Jackson and give him a shot. Like, he's the most electrifying player in the NFL, maybe of all time, maybe second behind Mike Vick. But, I mean, I think it's really hard to not give that guy a shot to go score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. He was in a tough situation for sure.
Yeah.
That one I don't give Harbaugh too much shit for that.
No, they made the right plays to put themselves in a position to win.
Yeah. Congrats to Drake, by the way. Drake locking up the first playoff spot this year.
Yep. Congrats, Logan's mom.
Logan's mom making the playoffs. Is this? Do you know? We'd probably have to go back. When was the last time Drake made the playoffs? Was it just a few years ago, or has it been a long time?
I mean, he's gotten last place a couple times, or like fighting for last place the last couple
I
of
know
years.
him and Damon handed it back and forth. Like he got it, and then Damon got it, and then he got it, or something like that. But
Yeah, so I'm not sure on that.
I'm not sure either. But I'm happy for Drake. Good for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's good to get back up there. I know he's feeling good about that. He's been dialing down this year, paying attention. He claims that's why he was doing bad in the past, is because he just wasn't paying attention. I think he was just doing bad, but I'm just kidding, Drake. Nice job, dude. Good job on locking up that first spot. We'll see how it shapes out. Still, a lot can happen seeding wise. So he could be anywhere from a 1 to a 2, I think.
You could be a 4.
Could he get to a 4? Oh yeah, because he's only 2 down. Yeah, he could be. Yep. But he's locked in, so that's cool. Nice job. Nice job, Logan's mom. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Get to the winners of the week. Start off with JR and Mario's game. Florida Sunshines beat Sir Mix-a-Lot 130-96. Anything notable from that game that you saw?
I mean, JR was tired of being disrespected. Put up some points finally. Yeah, but Jamar also was called off, wasn't going to play that week, and he still had him in the starting lineup and still dropped 130 points, which speaks volume to his team's ceiling. So we'll see. I mean, I probably wouldn't have played Adam Thielen. I probably would have slotted in Tyler Boyd or People's Choice Awards. So, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't have been that many more points anyway.
Yep. I would have done the same thing too. I was looking at that and I thought to myself, I wouldn't have started Thielen.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't have.
I would have went with one of the other two, just like you pointed to, and I would have got 3 points.
Although, like that, it comes down to that one weird stat, like Bill Belichick's defense, the number 2 receiver always has a good game against New England.
Yeah. Yep. It is true. Something to note for people.
Yep. DFS plays. Yep. Actually, I'm not playing anybody against New England's defense, though. not in DFS.
Second game, we had Rob versus Devin. Rob got the win. We'd already said he got his 6th win in as many games. Rob picked up the win 123-109. I've actually got Devin listed down here as a bad beat.
Yeah, ETN going out with the injury early. That sucked. Big time.
And then Higbee getting a goose egg.
Big old goose egg, yep.
This was the week. If somebody was going to beat Robert, this was the week to do it.
Yep.
He had a low amount of points.
His next 2 games are against me and you. So that was the week to do it.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. It was – I think that's one of the first times he scored under 150 points in the last 6 or 7 weeks, man.
Yeah.
For sure. Something of that nature at least. But he's
sorry. Just to note, like Tyler Higbee, I mean, it's not just him that's there. It's been all year. Devin just hasn't had a tight end that shows up. I think because even when he tried playing Pitts, like it didn't work. I think he had 1 good game on Devin's team.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, even early on in the season, that's been his biggest weakness.
It has been, yeah.
Is an overlooked position, but in our league, whoever has Kelsey wins a lot of games.
Creates a difference. Yep.
Yep, it's a big difference, and so
that was one reason I was going to draft him this year, is because it was like it seems like anybody who has Kelsey wins a lot.
Yep.
But I just went with the receiver tight end, and it actually would have worked out for me until Andrews got hurt. It was doing just fine with the tight end pick. I was losing everywhere else. Was where I was losing.
Yeah.
But
so, I mean, really against other people that are dropping 0s and 5s and maybe a 10. It's like you have a tight end plus an extra receiver on your team. Like you're creating a whole new slot for yourself to get points. So he's a human cheat code.
It's like you have an extra position.
Yeah.
You're starting a tight end and a receiver.
And a third
mid-grade receiver. Yeah, a third wideout.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that's why when you see it, even when somebody doesn't have Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, if they have a guy who goes off, Dallas Goedert 25, if they have a tight end that has a big week, they typically win.
Yep.
Or they have a high score.
Yep.
So it's a big thing.
We should just get rid of tight ends in our league.
What's that?
We should just get rid of tight ends in our league.
We should, yeah. Just get rid of tight ends, and we'll do
3 quarterbacks.
That'd get intense. Add another flex. No,
We
I like
could
tight
go back to having kickers. Just kidding. That's a
I like
horrible
tight
idea.
end. If I was allowed to get rid of another one, it would be a defense for sure.
Yeah, I'd get rid of defense.
I think everybody would agree with that, but that's
Especially this year.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third game, we had hold on. Oh yeah, third game, Drake versus Damon. This was the closest game of the week. Drake pulled out the win on, was it Sunday night that game was? Yeah, on a Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah, because Damon probably went to bed thinking he was going to win.
Right. Yeah, Drake got the win, 133.9. I'll go into the decimals on this one. 133.9 to 132.44.
Point and a half. Not even
Close game.
2 more yards. I mean, that's like, I actually can't say that for Tom Brady because I don't know if you've ever watched him take a knee at the end of the game. He purposely doesn't lose yards. You ever believe that?
No.
They talked about it too, the commentators, but like when he goes down, he doesn't take that step back and go down. So he never loses yards.
Nice. I mean, think about it. How many knees he's probably taken in his career? That would be like -2 yards every time.
Yep. So
I'm trying to get 600 yards rushing for my career, man.
Yeah.
Not 578.
I think it's Philip Rivers has like his career rushing yards or something like that is like 9 or something. Like it's absolutely absurd. I have to look it up.
Impressive.
Yeah, I have to look it up.
Fourth and final game, which was the Grilling Dad game of the week, was you versus me. I'm on Real Monsters, which was Gravedigger to begin the week, versus Wilson. You had the big week. Big Papa Sean.
Yeah.
This week. 175 to 106. Everybody went off on your team, man. You were talking about it in the text thread. Your running backs went off. Whenever I was like, man, no way. And I looked at it, I was like, he must have been looking at his receivers. You said no, those were the bench guys too, my bench running backs.
Yeah. All of them.
It was so crazy that your bench running backs, like what you were talking about, equaled the exact same thing that I was talking about.
Yeah, the receivers. Yeah.
It was only off by like a decimal thing. So I was just like, oh, he must have meant wide receiver running back. Like
Yeah. The Najee went out early in that game. Like he was playing okay, scored a touchdown. He was getting volume. And
parlay, baby, parlay.
Yeah, it did. Our parlay hit that Logan called. Najee and JT both scoring same game. That was nice. But yeah, he scored that touchdown early and then ended up getting hurt. But still, I mean, almost 11 points, 19 from Aaron Jones, 48 from Josh Jacobs, 31 from Miles Sanders, which was just sick to see on your bench, you know. And then 15 from Isaiah Pacheco, another 19 from Rashad White. And man, it was fun to watch, even though they're on my bench. But yeah, I actually moved Josh Jacobs down here and Najee up because he was questionable before the game. So I would have started Miles Sanders in his place. That was my plan. So I mean, I would have had a big flex week anyway. Still
would have scored 150 or whatever.
Yeah, so lucked out a little bit. Josh Jacobs was playing great matchup against Seattle, but yeah, it was nice to finally have some players show up.
A boom week. Yep. I was looking to have a decent week too. I had some good scores out of my quarterbacks, and dudes were doing okay. Damian Pierce didn't do anything. Mike Evans didn't do anything. Dawson Knox didn't do anything, and I got a point from the Patriots, which in hindsight probably shouldn't have started them against the Vikings, but I just felt like
you can't not start the Patriots.
Yeah, because if they get 3 turnovers, it's good. It's a good start. You know what I mean? Like if they pick off Kirk Cousins 2 times, which I was thinking they would end up with 2 picks in that game. like regardless, and maybe a fumble recovery because there was going to be a lot of scoring and a lot of back and forth. So I just figured that's what I'm going for. I'm not worried about the yardages and the points that the Vikings are going to get. I'm getting turnovers, but it just didn't happen. They protected.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, even though I have the Eagles defense, who's like second or third, in fantasy points for the year, I actually went and grabbed the Broncos D and plugged them up because they're going against Carolina. I thought our game was going to be really close. Like the matchups just looked like they would be close. And so I thought I'd have a higher ceiling with the Broncos, and then they go and score 2 points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was not
That's
fun.
one thing that did help me. Not that it helped me, he beat me by 70 points or whatever, but I had 1 point, Thursday starting off the week from my defense, and then 3 from my tight end or whatever. You getting 2 points out of your defense at least gave me some, and 6 from your tight end gave me some sort of shot to win in those other positions. I just did, so.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun game.
Now it was.
Every game to be that way.
Yeah. Bad beats. We talked about it, Robert and Devin, a little bit. That's the only one that I had down for a bad beat, just because of Etienne getting out or getting hurt early with the foot injury, and then Higbee just posting to 0. And he only lost 15 points. That was just a good week to try to get Bob, and just had bad luck out of a couple of positions.
Yeah, I had Damon marked down, just Dalvin Cook. I mean, 9.6 is not a bad week. I mean, that could be 96 yards out of a running back, which is solid, just not scoring a touchdown, not catching passes. I mean, but that wasn't the case. He didn't just run for 96 yards. But getting 9.6 points out of Dalvin Cook, I mean, that's not expected any week. You're expecting, a floor of 14, 15 points and ceiling of 25, 30 points.
Yeah.
So I had that one down just because that would have 2 more yards, man.
Yeah, 2.
And that would have been the difference.
At any time, we've talked about this before too on the pod, but anytime you lose by a point or a point and a half, you can sit there and dissect it all you want, and that's going to be a bad beat just because it could be anything. Like you said, 2 yards, man. So that one, I agree with that for sure. A&J Plug and Play of the Week this week, sponsored by the owner of Florida Sunshines. If you guys need anything electrical services done, give him a call. He'll hook you up. A&J Plug and Play of the Week, Christian Watson again. 21 points. First two-timer.
First two-timer. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where he can't be that really anymore. He's got to be seen as that guy if Aaron Rodgers is playing, and maybe even if he's not. Maybe even with Jordan Love playing. He's going to be that guy. They finally got a dude that can make plays if he catches the ball, but also without the ball, getting open.
Yeah.
Just finding a spot in the defense, sitting there waiting for the ball, or just running past everybody.
He's great at the 9 route, the fade, getting past the defense. Dude, he is – and the dude can catch – I think that's where he likes it. That's where he wants to catch the ball, is deep on the sideline. Like that, he loves that shit.
Yeah, making plays.
He probably can't be made as a plug and play of the week anymore.
I mean, look at the last 3 games.
Yeah,
I am.
But I
mean, that's on 4 receptions each, right? Like he's not getting tons of targets. I mean, 8 targets is good. 6 targets is like okay, but especially for a flex, maybe, but when you've got the potential 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, like we're seeing the regression happen, but the yardage is just there, man.
Because he eats those deep balls, man. Just eats them for breakfast.
He's Gabe Davis 2.0.
Yeah, but he actually gets the ball every game instead of.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. The reason that I really like him, though, too, or that I liked him for the A&J Plug and Play of the Week was just the fact that last week, obviously, he got some points for that, but the fact that he put up those 21 points on Sunday night to pick up that win for Drake.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch that, to see that transpire all together.
So, I mean, Marquise Brown coming back, Michael Pittman against a banged-up Pittsburgh defense.
I would have started Michael Pittman for sure. Not that I'm 2-10 or whatever. Don't listen to me, but I would have thought anybody would have started Michael Pittman right there too.
Yeah,
shoddy Steelers defense on Monday night.
And I mean, he still would have won, right?
Would Pittman end up scoring?
No. So
No.
1.9 points less. So Damon would have won by half a point.
But yeah.
So that play right there, was
that
definitely
was another thing that I noticed, and I probably would have started Marquise Brown too. I would have been intrigued by him coming back.
Yeah,
So
high scoring game projected. Yeah,
2 dudes that I would have likely thrown in over there.
Yeah, and I mean Juju scored 6.8. I mean he's been on a tear this season. I probably would have also had these guys here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who I would have played just because it's hindsight now and I know the results. But yeah, that was great play. Great play, Drake.
Yep. Bad starts. Did you see any of those?
Just Jamar kind of pointed that out just because he was ruled out before the game. Those aren't always easy to catch. Sunday mornings, you got a family, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, shit happens. That was really the only one that I saw that was kind of like, why'd you do that? There were some that were more hindsight type stuff like, Bob, why are you starting Deebo Samuel when you've got these guys who could score 20-plus points? But it doesn't matter because he won.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had Jamar Chase listed down to just the same thing. He just ended up getting scratched last minute. And then I had Higbee written down too, kind of a hindsight thing, but also not just because that they didn't have a quarterback, man. Their quarterback, that was not good for them. Yep. And I would have felt uncomfortable going against Bob starting a tight end that didn't really have a good quarterback. But
yeah, I mean, there were probably people
a little more hindsight again, but
I wouldn't have played Higbee regardless. I would have picked up someone from
anybody. Njoku was out there.
Yeah, I tried picking him up this week, even though he's banged up a little bit. Jacoby Brissett's just playing pretty well, and with Deshaun Watson coming back, I feel like even more like you don't need a lot of chemistry for those dump off passes, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see who Deshaun likes, but I think Njoku would be a good pickup moving forward for a team like Devin.
I think that they would. I think he'd be a good one too. And anywhere in the red zone, the tight end's always going to be a good look, and especially for a quarterback coming back trying to get comfortable. Mm-hmm. Those tight ends are closer to you, so they're going to get more of your looks.
Yep.
Then I had the Pats D also. We mentioned that a little bit. Again, more hindsight, but I know what I was going for, and it's hard to not start a Pats defense regardless of who they're playing. So
I would have started them. Shit, I tried trading for them.
Yeah.
Even against the Vikings.
That's funny.
Probably the only trade this year that involved a defense.
Yeah, maybe ever, actually.
Yeah, could be. Could be. Power rankings.
We'll get to the updated power rankings. I'll go through mine first. I think you go first the last couple times, but number 1, I got Mommy Chasers. Number 2, I got Logan's Mom. 3, The Goats. Number 4, Sir Mix-a-Lot. 5, Alave Another. 6, Amon-Ra, Real Monsters. 7, Florida Sunshines, and 8, myself, Wilson. I let JR go back up as he started a lineup this week.
Nice. I can't find my
Sean, I'm getting a call.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
Hey, man, Fantasy Show.
Hey, man, this is Rick. Am I live?
Rick, what's going on? Yeah, you're live, man.
I'm live, baby. I'm live. Hey, man, I'm sitting here. So today is a special day. I brought the whole family into town, and we went to the mall. And I am walking around, and my wife went into this smelly store, and my son said, Dad, I don't want to be here. So we left, and we found these massage chairs. And boy, howdy, I will tell you what, man, we may not leave the mall tonight. We may just stay at the mall tonight. How y'all doing, man? How was your Thanksgiving?
Our Thanksgiving was great. Sean, I'm sure you saw it. You pay a lot of attention to the league. Sean ended up getting a big win over me.
I did hear about that. I did. Sean, how does that make you feel that you get to see Logan's face and tell him how badly you just whipped him this past week?
It feels good, but it's one of those things, when it's two bottom teams of the league, it only can feel so good.
Yeah, but that win means you're one win further from being in last place.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm feeling good about that, not getting a license plate, for sure.
Hell, man, that's winning, right? That's winning right there.
It's winning, but it's not sitting in a massage chair at the mall winning.
No, it ain't. Hell no, it ain't. How you doing over there, man? You good? Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's good. So listen, y'all, my intelligent phone, it's about to lose all the battery that it has. And so I may lose y'all, but I wanted to call and say that your predictions from last week sucked. They sucked. You said, and you told me that Mr. Tony Pollard was going to score 3 touchdowns. And so guess who I played?
You played
Tony Pollard. And do you want to know who I set on my bench?
Who's that? Josh Jacobs?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh.
I set him down on my bench, and I played Tony Pollard because you predicted that there were going to be 3 touchdowns. Do you know how many touchdowns Tony Pollard scored last week?
I do, because he was a part of my TD's nuts. He scored 0. He scored 0 TDs.
Oh man, Sean, how do you let him do that? How do you let that happen?
Sometimes things don't happen according to plan, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold you liable, and I'm gonna need my $25 fantasy entry fee. Whenever you get the chance.
Well, I don't know.
That's your fault for letting him put that out there, and damn it, now I can't even afford another minute at the damn massage chair. My $1, and I'm like, man, I can't afford another $1. You don't get another 3 minutes, and Sean, that's on you.
That's on me.
So Rick, let me ask this: Are you calling because you want Sean to pay you your $25 right now so you can sit in that massage chair longer?
Oh man, that'd be great, Sean. Do that for me.
You know what? I happen to win a little bit of money on DraftKings. I made $25, so I might be able to make that happen.
How ironic is that? I mean, right? How ironic is that? You won $25 and you owe me $25. I mean, it was meant to be. Here, man, I'm gonna give you another $1. Hey, I gotta go, man. I'm gonna do another minute in this massage chair.
All right, hey Rick, thank you for calling again, man. We appreciate it. We're gonna have you.
Y'all have a good week,
We
man.
need to have you on next week. Towards the end of the show, you can do the predictions with us.
I would love to predict something. I would love that. Aiden, do you want to make a prediction? He says yes. Okay, y'all. Good week.
Have a good one, Rick. Thanks for calling.
All right, bye.
Rick.
Good old Rick.
Avid Colts fan, great listener to the show.
Yeah, I mean,
we need more call-ins, man.
We need more call-ins. That stuff's fun.
It is.
It's fun. Yeah. So we were at
power rankings. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
I just gone through mine.
Yep. And then so for mine, they're actually really similar. Got Mommy Chasers at 1. Logan's mom at 2. We got Mario at 3. The Goats at 4. That's Mario and then Damon. And then I've got Devin Olave Another at 5. Amonra Real Monsters. Bumped him up to 6.
Just for the name in general.
Yep. And then JR at 7 and Logan at 8.
I think I actually had you at 6 last week. So you didn't move. You didn't move for me.
Yep. Because you had JR last week.
Yeah. It probably would have been more JR at 6, you 7, me 8, but I was giving JR some shit for that. But
yep.
Yeah, I still got you at 6, and the 175 is a lot, and you have a small shot at the playoffs right now. So
It's very slim, and I've got a tough schedule. Like I'm playing Bob this week.
yeah, that's going to be a tough one for sure.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's there. It's possible.
It is possible. It's right now. It's saying I've got an 8% chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, I just don't want to get last.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Yep. So
Did you see
Yeah, we
any?
made-
Did you see the big waiver ads this week?
I mean, it was really just Damon and I that made a couple. I got rid of Heineke, grabbed Pickett. Basically a matchup play. I still may change that. Grabbed Mike White, got rid of Russell Wilson, who shouldn't have been even on a roster at this point. Mike White had a monster game. Plus, he's going to be the starter, hopefully, moving forward. I'm mentioning it now, but DFS, with him at quarterback, I think it makes Garrett Wilson a great play for DFS and really for fantasy. So that, seeing Cole Kmet get dropped by Damon and Njoku picked up, that was a good move. Speaking of Garrett Wilson, that's who Damon picked up as well. Dropped.
That's what I was going to mention. I thought that was a good pickup too.
Yeah. Elijah Missile. I'm still a big fan of. They're going to spread the ball around so much. It's hard to predict. San Francisco.
He's gone, man. He's out.
Yeah, it was a knee, right?
Yep. Probably
Yeah.
done for the year.
Yeah. So, not a bad drop there, but it's just one of those things where San Francisco themselves, they just spread the ball around so much. Even now with him gone, I don't think that it probably gives Christian McCaffrey a little bit more, but
Yeah. I'm sure it gives him a little bit more, but I do think that McCaffrey's capped a little bit just because of the Niners' way that they work the ball around. That's not to say that McCaffrey's not going to score 15 points a game, but you know what I mean? Like it's going to hurt his ceiling a little bit. But.
yeah, we talked about that a little bit on the show last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I said that's what I would do. Like if I were Drake's team, I would have tried to trade him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you did. You did.
This week,
What would you do?
Scored 9 points, 8.9. So
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, seeing some Browns defense get in there, drop Marcus Mariota. You dropped Marcus Mariota. Didn't you just pick him up?
No, I picked him up a couple of weeks ago to start because Geno was out.
I got you. He had a couple decent runs this week too. Watch that.
Yeah, he did. I just don't have any use for him right now. Just because I'm not gonna start him ever again, and I would rather start the Browns defense this week. Just because I picked up the Browns to maybe start them this week against Houston. I still have the Patriots defense because like we said, it's hard to bench them. But
Yeah,
against
I haven't seen.
against Buffalo, they kind of showed what they did. Then again, I don't know, man. I'm gonna end up tinkering with it and making the wrong decision. It doesn't matter. Josh Allen's been doing a lot of interceptions. You know what I mean? So it might actually not be a bad play.
Yep. Well, it's because he started the year so hot without throwing interceptions, and the law of averages catches up. So he's due
That's
for another big game soon.
Yeah, he is. He scored 29 points last week, so that's not big in his case, but it's still a pretty big game.
It's a good game. Yeah.
Notable injuries, though. Travis Etienne went down with a foot injury. He is expected to play as far as Doug Peterson is concerned. Darnell Mooney, ankle injury, probably going to have to get surgery. He's out for the year. Allen Robinson, he's not too notable in an 8-man league, but he went down with a foot injury. He's going to be out for the remainder of the year. Elijah Mitchell, MCL injury, probably going to be out for the remainder of the year. He's going to have to get surgery. And then one that you had mentioned is Aaron Rodgers going down, Jordan Love coming in to end the game, and Rodgers going out with the ribs injury. He's got a thumb injury, and I myself personally think that he just needs a vacation. The way that he looks.
He definitely needs a vacation. And just to bring it back, because you mentioned the Browns D, I haven't heard, maybe there's a lot of talk. I haven't watched SportsCenter like much anymore. I just would rather read about sports, I guess. But I haven't read much about Sean Watson, playing against Houston. I think that's going to be really his first game back. That's who he's playing against. Like,
how's that not getting more publicity? I
don't know.
agree.
Like, that's a big deal. Like, everyone likes to talk about these games after someone's traded and all that stuff. But this was a big deal for like 2 years trying to get out of Houston. And now his first game back with the Browns is against Houston. Like, this is going to be big.
After a suspension,
I almost picked up Houston's defense.
Don't do that.
And then I realized I don't like Houston's defense against anybody.
I wouldn't do that.
But he's gonna be rusty. Like, is he gonna make great plays? Like, for sure. Like, the dude can ball out, like, no doubt. But he's gonna be rusty. He's gonna make a couple of bad plays. Like, he's not that familiar with the guys on his team.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Sorry to go off on that tangent.
No worries. That because I agree. I saw that he was playing Houston too, and I was thinking, how come I've not seen something about that yet?
Well,
maybe I heard about it. At the beginning of the year, somebody said like, "Oh, there's a possibility that Watson's first game is going to be against Houston," and then it just kind of brushed it off. But whatever. I did. Never mind. We won't get into that. Scratch it. We'll cut that part. Cut that. All right. We'll get to the new segment that was here. Well, it's the third week, so it's not really new anymore. But what would you do, Sean? You are the owner of Sir Mix-a-Lot, so you are Mario's team. You're sitting in second place. You've got a really good shot at making the playoffs. 3 weeks to go. You do have a soft schedule as far as this week goes. But is there anything that you see that you like, or anything, any moves or anything that you would see that you would do if you were Mario?
Well, I think one of them would have happened already. And that is grabbing Pirine, right? Like, he missed that opportunity last week.
Mm-hmm.
So that part sucks for him.
Would you make a trade for him, maybe?
I would consider it, maybe. Like, I'm not – Michael Carter, I don't think is the answer.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. And even if he's healthy, I mean, the way that they were splitting carries, I know Robinson's out, but they've got guys, right? Like, Zonovan.
Ty Johnson, I think, is there. Is that the
Ty Johnson's still there, yeah. And they've got guys. But I think Mario either needs one more win will get him in the playoffs for sure, or like me, Mario, or me, JR, and Devin, if all of us have one more loss this year, would also get him in the playoffs. There's probably some other scenarios too, but basically he just needs one more win and he's in. So that's probably what I'm trying to do, is just get one more win and position myself for the playoffs.
Get there.
Just get there, lock it up, and then worry about the playoffs. But I will start looking ahead. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at every single player I've got. Like Derek Carr, my last few games. Do I want Derek Carr against San Francisco in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm there? Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find who's going to be my quarterback if I'm in the Super Bowl, because it's not going to be against San Francisco.
And it's not going to be Derek Carr. You're not going to want to do that.
Yeah, especially not against that defense. So I'm looking like that's big red flag. Like, you need to get your win. Maybe you play him this week, but maybe you don't. Maybe you make a roster move now to try to get somebody. Lamar Jackson, same there. I mean, this looks good to me. Denver, this might be a tough week, but really he's kind of matchup proof.
I do want to mention too that the trade deadline comes up. Is it next Tuesday?
Well, yep. So I'm looking ahead. Like, if I'm in this position, I need one more win. I'm looking ahead at those playoff spots. Like, who am I actually going to be? Who are my teams playing against? This is a fairly good lineup. So I'm fine with Lamar. Plus, like I said, I mean, he might have somewhat of a tough matchup this week. I know he got banged up a little bit, but that's bound to happen when you run the ball as much as he does. Derrick Henry, looking ahead, great schedule for him. Dallas is going to be tough to play against, but Tennessee should be in a position that they still want to win for the playoffs. So nothing I'm changing there. Again, Michael Carter, I'm not starting when I'm off my team. Devontae Adams, same type of thing because he's partnered with Derek Carr up there. So that's the trade, in my opinion. Like, that's it right now, is I'm getting rid of Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Because of that last matchup.
Sure.
He's got New England. He's going to get shut down. I mean, whether people want to say it or not. Plus, he's got to deal with Ramsey the week after that or before that. So he's got a really tough matchup as a receiver. And partnered with Derek Carr, I mean, that's the guy I think that you can trade to make a move. You could get does he need another receiver? I mean, you could throw in a Brandon Ayuk most likely or Gabe Davis. But you can get another receiver or level up your running back play, because if Joe Mixon's going to be back, which they are saying that he should be back this week, then you're probably fine, barring any setbacks there. So go get a top end quarterback, you know who needs a receiver but has quarterbacks and trying to make the playoffs. Devin, he's got two of them, two of the best quarterbacks. Try to make a play, make a trade there, give Devontae Adams up for a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, right? Try it. Those are the things that I'm looking at. I think Tyler Lockett, I looked at their schedule a little bit earlier. I think it's fine. He's going to have one tough matchup, but the playoffs, I think he's going to be just fine. A lot of opportunities. He's got Kittle and Schultz. That's going to be a matchup on a weekly basis, so I would keep both of them and just play whoever has the best matchup. But I think what would I do? I would trade Devontae Adams. As crazy as that sounds, to either shore up either the running back position, or if he feels fine with Joe Mixon, getting a top-end quarterback and another receiver that you can slot in.
Yeah. Very interesting to throw out that thought about going for Devin in one of those quarterbacks. Again, guys, I want to mention the trade deadline is December 2nd. I just looked it up. It says December 2nd at 1 a.m. So that is pretty much
a couple days.
Yeah. I mean, that's Friday. So you got a day or two to make your trades. So that's what that is for What Would You Do? Mario, thanks for being a part of that. Now, let's get in the zone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Not sponsored by.
Not sponsored by, but should be sponsored by AutoZone.
AutoZone.
All right. I've got one. Just have to pull it up. Un momento, por favor. Might be faster on my thing to get that back up.
Do what?
Might be faster here. Doing it on my computer. Phone's being a little slow. But I had it pulled up earlier. Just a sec. All right, this is a fun one. Of active players in the NFL. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Tom Brady has 638 career touchdowns. He's an active player. Passing. Yep, passing touchdowns. So he's number one by a lot. Can you name the next four? I think they're somewhat obvious, but can you name them? Because there's a lot. There's a lot of
Peyton
touchdowns, I should say. No, active players.
Oh, active. My bad. I was like Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Phillip Rivers. Active after Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. He's at 470, by the way. He's
Matt
not
Ryan.
even close.
Matt Ryan,
Yep, he's third.
Joe Flacco.
Nope, he's eighth.
What a loser. Dude's been around for like 15. He's been around as long as Matt Ryan has, I think.
Yeah, same year. Yep.
So I got Rodgers, Ryan. Why can't I fucking think of it? Let's go with Kirk Cousins.
He's sixth.
Oh, man.
One of them you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, duh."
Sure, I'm sure I will, but
Won a Super Bowl last year.
now I
Pizza,
can't even remember who won the Super Bowl last year.
He's the pizza guy.
Yeah, Matt Stafford.
pizza.
I wanted to say him, and I couldn't think of the fucker's name.
That's how I'm gonna remember him. A pizza guy.
Sorry, I'm a little
And
high.
fifth,
I don't know, man. Matt Stafford, and then probably it's not Kirk Cousins. Can't be. It wouldn't be Jimmy G.
no, he's way down.
Yeah. Oh, Russell Wilson.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's ride. So
That's right.
it happens to be the reason I picked top five. One, because it's a nice, I was going to say even number, but that's actually an odd number. But those are the only active players with 300 or more career passing touchdowns. And Russell Wilson's at 300.
Really? So that right there is a limit. That's cool. That's
Yep.
a good one.
Yeah,
I kind of nailed that one.
you did. Yeah.
Kind
What was the one that was actually a little surprising to me? Came into the league the same year as Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson, who were 5 and 6. Was Ryan Tannehill? He's got 209 passing touchdowns, and he's the top 10.
Wow.
It didn't feel like he's thrown that many touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, you play that long though, and you play that many games. You're gonna get them. That's kind of where my mind went, was who's played. Like Matt Ryan's played. I know that.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins is why I thought Kirk Cousins and Joe Flacco. It's like those two have played constantly.
Yeah, let's see. If we did passing yards, it would be probably the same top 5, maybe. Kirk Cousins might flip. Yeah, so it'd be Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, and then Joe Flacco. Okay. As far as passing yards.
Yeah, Flacco for sure.
Yep. Dalton
Joe
is he is a honorable mention, top 10
Oh.
both of those.
Nice.
That
TD's
makes me
not.
feel like, sorry, real quick. That makes me feel like we are out of the quarterback prime, because we just had a really long time where there were amazing quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah, there were. We're getting some good ones though coming up. I mean, we're getting the end of. Hopefully, we're not really seeing the end of Russell Wilson, and he can continue to throw touchdowns and be a fun guy to watch. I mean, Kirk Cousins is going to be throwing touchdowns for a hot minute.
Yeah, he is.
But I mean, I think Herbert's going to be fun to watch. I think Mahomes is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson is fun. There's some dudes out there that can get to that 300 mark eventually.
Yeah, I think Tua's going to be there.
Tua, absolutely. With Mike McDaniel, they've found a little cheat code in the game for sure.
May not be as many passing yards as someone like a Kirk Cousins, but who's throwing 5,000 yards every season.
Every year, yeah.
But touchdowns, he's going to be up there for sure.
Yep.
But speaking of Mahomes, I do think that Mahomes will pass, barring any major injuries or anything. I think he'll smash Tom Brady's records. I think he's the only quarterback that has a chance, at least current quarterbacks.
The only argument that you would have against that is that Tom Brady's played for so long, and it's just
Yeah.
going to be hard to get to that number based off of longevity. And who wants to play that? Does Pat Mahomes want to play until he's 43 or 44? You know what I mean? 45. I don't think it takes him that long to get those stats.
Right.
I'm not saying that necessarily. I'm just saying like it could turn into a thing of like, man, I'm 38 and I'm just done. Like I don't care about Tom Brady's touchdowns. Like
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get to that point eventually. And that was, Gronk was in an interview this weekend, and that was his argument when they saw like Kelsey and Mahomes have like the most active between players or whatever, and it's like the second or third most career, something crazy, right? Between the thrower and the catcher. I can't say receiver because he's a tight end.
Yeah.
And like Peyton and Marvin, they're up there, but Gronk said like that's going to be the issue. Is like not only can they both play that long, but is Travis Kelce going to want to play another 5 years? Probably not.
Yeah. They get banged up a lot.
Yep. But, all right. It's TD's nuts.
TD's nuts. Sean, you hit last week with the Kenneth Walker prediction.
Kenneth Walker. Come on.
So that takes you to you're 2-1 on the season for TD's nuts. I missed with the Tony Pollard, like Rick mentioned on the phone earlier. So that takes me to 1-2 on the season on a TD's nuts. Who you got this week,
I mean, are we still going any position? I couldn't remember if we did.
Yeah. Any position for this one. This can be anybody. Obviously cannot be a passing touchdown. It's got to be somebody who catches or runs the ball into the end zone.
You know who I'm going to go with, just because I've already mentioned him, and I have him set in a DFS lineup. He was limited in practice, so I think he'll be able to play. But so he did play some, so that's good news. But I think Zay Jones, that's my TD's nuts this week. I think he's going to go off and have a couple of them.
I bet you'll get a good plus money on that if you bet on it too, like a plus 170 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean they're playing Detroit.
Yeah,
So.
that's a good. We'll get to DFS a little bit, but I like that a lot. My TD's nuts this week, I got Jamal Williams.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we texted about that. If they're in the red zone, he is scoring a touchdown. Period.
Yeah, it's almost guaranteed. Like it's 1 out of 4 times he's going to score a touchdown in the red zone. At least 1 out of 4 times.
And that's just the red zone, like 20 yards. If they're within 5, like I would love to see that stat. I bet it's really high.
Mm-hmm.
The percentage that he's scoring a touchdown. That dude just has a nose for the end zone. I like that pick. I like that pick a lot.
I think he'll get in again this week. It's a high over-under, which we'll get to right now in DFS. First, I want to bring up that big money Sean, Big Papa Sean, won some money last week on FanDuel. Congratulations on that, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like $34 was the profit on it.
Good win.
Gross. Yeah, gross win was like $56, but it costs money to enter the tournaments. But yeah, I played the same lineup in 4 different tournaments and hit on all of them.
Nice.
And I didn't even use Josh Jacobs. So if I would have, I think, come in first place in a couple of.
Frogs had wings, man. We talked about that
Frogs
before.
had wings. Yep. Well,
The high over-under.
I say that, sorry, but like I had him in my lineup, and because he was questionable, I took him out.
Oh man,
no. That's why I mentioned that. Yeah, so literally like 30 minutes before the games, they said he's going to play, and I'm like, well, I'm going to keep him in my lineup, but just in case he's limited, I'm taking him out of my DFS.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for that either.
Yeah, so
and the Raiders, Brandon Bolden went down with an injury, so that kind of it gave more to Josh Jacobs. Not that he wouldn't have done that anyway, but it was just like, hey man, you're gonna have to carry the load now for sure.
Yeah,
you're gonna be on the field more. High over-unders this week for DFS. We had the Jags versus the Lions. That was one reason that I like Jamal Williams, and I think it's funny that you picked Zay Jones in that game. So we each kind of picked on that game.
Yep.
That's a 51.5 over-under. Chiefs versus Bengals, that's actually the highest over-under of the week with 52.5, and I think that game is going to be ripe with fantasy plays. Most of them are going to be chalk but I think that you're going to have some dudes that you can play on either team that could not, they might be a little cheaper, but they're going to get you some points because that over-under should be pretty high. I think that 52 is pretty good. Then the Chargers Raiders is at 50 as well.
Do you know what the spread is on that Kansas City Cincinnati game? Is it within 3?
Let me look real quick. I think it was more than that with the Chiefs. I'm going to confirm for you real fast on FanDuel. That's what
That's
we
a
use.
game I think I would take underdog. I'd take Cincinnati there. Not that I think Cincinnati.
They're gonna be a road dog. I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
I always take the road. Oh no, I'm not. They're not. I'm sorry. The Bengals are hosting, and
exactly.
they are giving 2.5 points. So the Chiefs are favored by 2.5.
Dang, that's real close. I think I will. No, I'll probably fade that. If it was more than 3, I think I would take it because I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
If it was the Bengals at the Chiefs, and I was getting 3, I would take the Bengals.
Yeah,
but that's kind of following my rule, But the low over under, and this was the only real low one of note, was the Broncos versus the Ravens at 38.5. You're gonna have to spend up to get one of those defenses, but might be worth looking at Latavius Murray, for instance. The Broncos are just gonna try to eat the clock. That's who they are now because they cannot score.
Yep.
Every time they get the ball, I think they're gonna try to eat the clock and not let Lamar Jackson on the field. So,
yep. One that I like. Sorry, I mean we can start at the top, or just because you said defense is there. I mean the Steelers. I kind of picked. Said it earlier. I picked them as kind of my other team to watch when they had T.J. Watt. Beginning of the season, I know Cincinnati wasn't all the way ready, right? They had a really slow start. But the Steelers' defense scored 26 fantasy points against a good offense. Maybe it wasn't good at the time. But now that TJ Watt's back, he didn't personally do much this game against the Colts, but they gave up 17 points, yet still scored 10 fantasy points. And they're only $2,600 and going against Atlanta, who just loves to run the ball. So it should be another low-scoring game. So that's my pick for the defense this week.
I like that.
The best is the Steelers.
Really, the only reason too that I started with the defense there is because I was just mentioning the low over under. Sometimes we like to start our defenses from that game, but the Broncos Ravens are going to cost you. But quarterback, man, I almost set a lineup this week, and I was pretty stuck on it. I still sort of am, but other than the running back and wide receiver positions. But I like Joe Burrow this week as a quarterback. He's going to cost you some money. I think he's around $8,000. But I like tying him up with T. Higgins this week against the Chiefs, and what should be a high scoring game.
Nice. Joe Burrow is actually only 6,900.
Oh wow! Okay, thought he would have costed some money. Then I definitely will start Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. I like Aaron Jones this week. I also like Jamal Williams, who I had mentioned earlier, who's going to be in one of those high over-under games.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also like Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep.
Throw him in the Chiefs and Bengals game if you're gonna have Joe Burrow and T. Higgins.
I like that.
And then Samaje Perine. Possibly. You're going to have to keep an eye on Joe Mixon on that one too. But Brian Robinson was the other one who I think that maybe you were going to mention, who's getting all the looks for the Commanders now. I think he's a good start too.
Yep. So you mentioned a couple guys that I have. I already set one lineup for this week that I really like, and it has Isaiah Pacheco and Brian Robinson at running back.
Nice. Very nice. There you go.
I mean, Pacheco at 5,700, Brian Robinson at 5,300. They're both just getting volume right now, and that's what it takes. If you're not going high-end player, you just got to find somebody that's getting the ball.
Yep, the number one dudes.
Yep.
So in all these lineups, I was looking at them. You can get pretty much all of these dudes in a lineup with almost any sort of mix-up that you want to do.
Yeah.
That I'm listing right now. The wide receivers that I like People's Choice Awards. He had a bad game last week. That was like his first game that he had under 50 yards since week 3. So I like him this week against the Texans, the very shoddy defense, and Deshaun Watson coming back. I like Tyler Lockett as well. I think he's a good start. And I like Zay Jones against the Lions.
Yeah, and to that, with the People's Choice Awards, Deshaun is going to take some chances and try to put up numbers against Houston. Not to like dig in too deep into the story, but I like that play a lot. I actually hadn't considered him, and may need to relook at this a little bit. So at high end, and I mean, I'm going to, lack of better terms, beat this horse until it's past dead, I guess. But Tennessee cannot guard against fast receivers, and so I'm playing AJ Brown.
Okay.
He does cost a lot, $7,800, but I think it's one of those where he has the chance again to throw up 3 touchdowns. I mean, I just think his ceiling is unmatched this week as far as receivers go. Zay Jones, only $4,900. I think he's a lock. Especially, I didn't mention this earlier, but my quarterback this week, Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I like that.
Lawrence against Detroit. Plus, he's just being really, really accurate with the football right now.
Yeah.
It's just a great matchup. And then grabbing Garrett Wilson again with good old Mike back there, and not Zach Wilson. I think that he's got a real chance. Mike White, that is, sorry, against Minnesota, who scores the ball. Score a lot of points. They throw a lot. So I think that I don't know what the over-under is on that, but when I was looking at the lineups, Minnesota's banged up on defense, but even before they were banged up, they give up a lot of points to receivers. So love Garrett Wilson. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, same game, threw him in my flex. He's also $7,100, but that should be a pretty high-scoring game. And then Hawkinson and defense against the Jets.
Okay. I like that.
And he's only $5,200.
Yeah, 52. That's not too bad.
Yeah,
I didn't mark down a tight end. I wasn't interested in him this week, I guess.
I was in between him and Kittle. Who would you play there?
Spending high on those two.
I mean, those two will fit into this lineup. Kittle is going against Miami.
I would play Kittle. I like that.
You would play Kittle.
Yeah, I think that game could be high scoring as well. For some reason, I can't find this Vikings game. Is it on a different day or something?
No, it's 1:00.
Oh, they won't have it on there.
Let's look it up. Vikings, Jets.
Oh, here it is. The over-under is 44.5. The Jets do have a pretty good defense.
Yeah. So
but that actually helps Garrett Wilson, because going into how the Vikings do throw the ball, watch me do a spin cycle on this. The way the Vikings do throw the ball a lot versus a good defense typically means there's going to be more incompletions, which means more time on the clock for Garrett Wilson. So if you want to look at it that way, it's something to look at and something to feel good about too. So
it's interesting. That's a lot.
I thought we had some juicy plays this week. I think that it'll be fun. Like I said, all of these guys that we mentioned, I think I'm going to do a lineup stacking the Bengals, and then I'm going to stack the Jags too.
Yeah, I might do the same.
Might even do one where I stack the Lions against the Jags and with St. Brown, see if we can get the Goff and St. Brown thing.
Yep.
Pick 2 last week. You got the win over me. Get this. Did you check these scores yet?
No.
You had Mahomes and Kelsey with 34.1 points. I had Josh Allen and Dawson Knox 33.62.
Ooh. It's the closest one we've had.
Ouch.
Closest one we've had. Half a yard. Come on.
Yep. Sean got the win. That puts you at 7-4 on the season. This week, we're going to pick 2 running backs like we talked about last week.
Yep.
And I talked to Devin too over Thanksgiving. I want everybody to get into this next year. Create a little side bet thing with this, and I'll keep an Excel sheet with it and everything that says who everyone picked there can be overlaps because you're only going to be allowed to pick a guy one time.
Hmm.
So, and what we'll try to do too is we'll try to set what we're going to do each week, so everybody can look ahead and know, okay, I'm gonna have to start 6 quarterbacks this year. Then at some point in time, these are the ones I'm gonna start. But kind of just create a fun side game out of it. We don't have to have any money on it or anything, just something to talk shit and have fun with. But
Yep. That would be a fun thing to do to determine the next year's draft order.
yeah, there you go. It could always be that, like the pick 2 is gonna
Mm-hmm.
get you. Yeah, I like that too.
But I also really liked how we did the NCAA basketball bracket to determine draft order. I think I like that better, actually.
That was really fun. Yeah, I think you might be right.
Because even if your team goes out early, like you're still like really rooting for certain teams that you normally wouldn't just because you want to have a better draft. Because you don't want to get stuck with that first overall pick. Trust me.
Well, you don't want to get last either because you might end up in last place on the season. So, who you got on your running backs this week? Well, I'll write mine down too. But
Yep. So I've got Pacheco as one of them. Is he still available?
yeah, nobody's picked. You've not picked him before, and I'm not going to pick him. So
okay, I wasn't sure. Like, are we allowed to pick the same players?
I think that we should try to mix it up.
Yeah,
as much as we can.
Yeah.
But we still only pick them one time.
Yep.
Because we can do that. We can make that work. I'm going to go with.
And then I'll go Rashad White as my other.
All right.
Both Amon-Ra, Real Monsters teammates.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yep.
I want to start Jeff Wilson really bad against the Niners on a little revenge game action, but the Niners are tough too, so that's not always the best pick. I am going to go with. Got to pick somebody that I haven't picked too. Who's got good running backs? Robert does. I'll go with Jonathan Taylor. And I'll go with Kenneth Walker.
I think you've probably got a higher ceiling.
I hope so.
But I still like my picks.
Predictions. Last week, each of us went 2-2, taking us to each of us going to 26-18 on the season. So all tied up with the predictions, and we both got a winning record. If we were betting on FanDuel, we'd be winning.
Yep. Next year, our league will be available to bet on.
Yeah, FanDuel and DraftKings.
Yep.
This week, get right into it. Sir Mix-a-Lot versus Wilson. Mario versus Logan. Who you got?
Both of you guys suck at playing defense and give up a ton of points. Actually, Devin's team sucks at playing defense. Not so much mine. You know what? I think this one's going to be really close. And it's going to come down to whether Lamar is banged up or not, and if Joe Mixon plays. So just because of the ifs, I actually had you written down as getting the win.
I got me getting the win as well, just so you know. I just think odds say I have to win at least one more game, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's just a lot of question marks right now for Mario's team. Hope he gets healthy for the playoffs.
Yep.
Trade Devontae Adams, Mario.
Second game, we have Mommy Chasers versus Amon-Ra, Real Monsters. Bob versus Sean. Who you got in that one?
You know what? For someone who has been on fire, do you know what happens when you're on fire for too long, Logan?
You get extinguished.
Not just extinguished. You get your ash kicked.
Okay.
So Robert's getting an ash kicking this week, and I'm winning. I'm winning this game against Bob, shutting him down.
Wow.
Ash kicking.
All right, and then we've got Oh, I'm sorry. In that game, I've got Bob winning that one. So you've got you, right?
Yep.
You said, and I've got Bob winning that one. That's funny. Ash kicking. Devin versus Drake. Olave Nether versus Logan's mom. Who you got?
Yeah, another one where, again, I just think it's going to be another upset here, and I think Devin takes the win over Drake. Drake's already locked up. He's probably going to rest his guys a little bit,
Yeah.
So Devin's got this.
I was thinking the same thing. I've got Devin on this one. I think he just wants it more this week. We'll see if Drake knows he's in. This is perfect for Drake to take his time off, rest with his kids, get ready for the playoffs. Maybe spend some time with Chantel and let her know, hey, these next few weeks, I'm going to be locked on the TV and on my phone trying to set the lineup.
Yep.
Got Devin in that one. And then, last but not least, Grilling Dad Game of the Week. You want to take this one down?
Yeah, Grilling Dad Game of the Week. It's going to be Damon versus JR, the GOATs, versus the Florida Sunshines. And so this one's really interesting looking at this game because a win for Damon almost puts JR out of the playoff contention, but also it almost locks in a playoff spot for Damon. So I think every game this week actually has some type of playoff play in it. And I just think this one's going to be one of the closest games we have. And for me, the question mark is Deshaun Watson. Is he going to be the guy that we've seen before or not? Jamar Chase coming back. He should be healthy this week. He almost played and then couldn't. So he should be ready to play. So I'm going with JR getting the win.
Nice.
Another week of all upsets. That's what's happening.
This was a game that it was tough for me to predict. I did want to pick JR for the reasons that JR knows that he needs to pick up this win. His guys are going to be on edge. They're going to be ready to roll. He's getting Jamar Chase back, should be anyway. But the one thing that bothered me a little bit about picking JR was I looked and I noticed that James Conner is on a bye, and his running back depth is not there. He's got Raheem Mostert there to start. I'm not sure if Raheem Mostert is going to pair up very well against an Austin Eckler or a Dalvin Cook lineup. And I think that Damon actually ends up taking this win pretty much coming down to a positional thing, and it could be a running back situation. I think it's going to be a close game, probably going to be mediocre score, 130s to 145s-ish, but I've got Damon winning it.
Nice. Who do you think that he will slot in there? You think Mostert or no?
I mean, as of now, that's his only option.
But he's got some trade bait. He could make moves between now and then, or picking up. There's some players out there right now that can be picked up, but we'll see if the lineup is set or not. JR, I'm betting on you to go get this win.
There is a huge lack of running backs on the waiver wire. I think JR's best move would be to try and make a trade if he can. I know that he doesn't want to make any more trades, but that might be his best move because right now he's playing week to week.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to make moves to get in. He's got every week's a playoff week for him right now. So,
yep, I could see that. Who are the people? We've got a lot of people picking up Melvin Gordon. Or no, dropping. Sorry. Wrong way. Kyron Williams, he actually did get quite a few snaps. Cam Akers got banged up a little bit. I had him on my team. He's out of Notre Dame. Had a good college career. So that's a guy to consider picking up. Yeah, he got touches last week. So it's a guy to consider. Good matchup too against Seattle.
Might be the best option, other than Raheem Mostert. So, all right. Got anything else? Anything to know on our way out here?
Nope. We'll say though, if you like the pod, you'll probably like the pod. Come and play.
I got something to say. Go Hoosiers.
We got about 2 hours before that game. Big old game in North Carolina. Find out what we're made of. Put up
Can't
a
wait.
show.
Can't fucking wait. Damon, take off your UNC shit. We don't need that.
Yep. Bad juju, bro.
Later.